and I'm going to head to Jeremy Langdon. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Hi, Joe. Hello.
Hi, Jeremy. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to speak to you again. Fair to say that there was some turmoil after the Ashes and some bloodletting. Giles gone, Silverwood, Thorpe. What was your reaction to those heads rolling? And were you ever, in any sort of sense, thinking about your own future as captain at that point?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say it's never nice when you see people that you've worked closely with for a long period of time lose their jobs, and they've obviously given a huge amount to English cricket. And someone like Graham I've known and has been my batting coach since being 20 odd years old, and has helped me throughout my whole international career, and it's been amazing for me personally. We're obviously very closely with Silvers and Ash, and it's never easy to see people lose their jobs. And I really hope they find something that fulfills them, and they're very successful at that, whatever's next for them. Clearly, it was a disappointing tour, and we massively underperformed. And I think off the back of it, we've got to try and use this opportunity for a fresh start, for as Strauss's mentioned, a bit of a reset and a real chance to take things forward. And I'm very grateful that I've got the opportunity to do that as captain.
Yeah, Mike Atherton was saying recently, though, you're very lucky to be staying on as captain. I mean, how would you respond to
that? I'd say that I'm, as I said, very grateful to get the opportunity to do it. I know there's a lot of hard work ahead, but I'm very much looking forward to that challenge. And that starts on this tour first. And like I say, it's a real opportunity that we've got to take with both hands and make the most of it. It's obviously a very new looking squad. And, it's a real chance for guys to step up and really, take the chances that are presented to them, me included.
But no Jimmy and no Stuart Broad. I mean, Stuart's been saying how confused and angry he was and only had a 5-minute telephone call. Do you think they've been treated shabbily?
I've spoken to both Stuart and to Jimmy, and as you mentioned, they're obviously disappointed, angry, and they've Stuart in particular has voiced that quite publicly. And you'd expect that. I've got a huge amount of respect for both of them. But at no point, it's been made very clear as well that no one's saying that this is the end for them. And the guys that are on the tour have got a real opportunity to step into some slightly different roles, to take those opportunities, to grow themselves as players within this team, and to strengthen what could be the backbone of this team moving forward. And it'd be great to see Stuart and Jimmy very much in the mix at the start of the summer as well.
So you don't think it's the end of their Test careers?
As I mentioned, no one said that it's the end. There's obviously a lot that can happen within this tour and over the next period, but I think that's been made very clear that it's certainly not the case.
There are 8 players, Joe, who went to the Ashes who are not going on this tour, and there are some other big names like Joss, of course, who's not going. What would you say about his future as a Test player?
I'd say for all of those guys, they've got to go away and look at areas in which they can improve and how they can come back stronger. Now, I don't think it's fair to single individuals. I think collectively, even the guys that have had that were on that trip will look at coming away from things. How can they improve? How can we better this team? How can as an individual, how can I make sure that I'm performing? And that individual responsibility is very important. But my focus now is on this group of players that's going and making sure that they're as ready as they can be. They've got clarity in the roles that they're going to play on this trip, and they really relish the chance and the opportunity that's in front of us. I think that's really important, and go and enjoy that as well. It's a great place to go and play. We've been once there in a very long time, and that challenge and that sort of mentality, if we could do something very special in the West Indies, is going to be really important, and it excites me.
Yeah, and like you say, a great chance for some players like Fisher, Mahmood, and Lees. What would you say about their inclusion?
No, it's always exciting seeing new players come into the squad. It always is, and I say it's a great opportunity for them. It's a fresh start. They can show what they can do in this environment, and they've obviously been very impressive to get a part of this squad. And I'm excited for them. So. It's, as with a number of other guys as well, it's a great chance for, I keep saying it, but a great opportunity to to really step into a different space, maybe a slight change in mindset about how we go about things, and hopefully we can come away from a very successful tour.
Joe, just finally from me back to Australia and the Hobart hotel roof at dawn. I mean, obviously you were there with Jimmy and Graham. The police asked you to move on. It didn't look that good. Is that something you regret now?
Well, clearly it doesn't look very good. I mean, we were very respectful. We wanted to catch up with the opposition. We wanted to talk through things. I was having good, deep conversation with Nathan Lyon, someone that I've known for a very long time, played a lot of cricket with and against, and wanted to talk through the series. And we might have overstepped the mark slightly, and apologise if that was the case. But in no way did we mean any offence or want to show cricket in a bad light. That's absolutely not what that was about. It was about learning from your opposition and showing that for us was just sort of not celebrating because it wasn't a very successful tour personally, but enjoying that company of the opposition, having fought hard against each other for a long period of time.
Thanks, Joe. Good luck in the Windies.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. Let's go to Joe Wilson, and then we'll do John Norman after that.
Thanks, Danny. Hello, Joe. You all right?
Hi, Joe. Good. How are you?
Yes, very good. Good to see you.
Good.
When you're talking about young players stepping into that space, I totally get what you mean by that. But is it easier for them to step into that space without Broad and Anderson there? I'm not saying they deliberately ever would set out to intimidate young players, but when you've got somebody in any kind of working environment who's such an established figure, does it make it easier for young players to express themselves without Anderson and Broad there? Make it easier for you to, as a captain, to express yourself?
I think the fact that they're not there is more that with them not being there, there's different roles that people have to fill. They've taken the new ball for such a long period of time in English cricket. They've been leaders of the attack and they've done an extremely good job with it, and huge amount of respect for that. But this is an opportunity for other guys to step into that space and become leaders as well. Take on a different role within the team. Guys like Chris Wokes and others that will get the opportunity to now bowl with a brand new ball at the start of a test match in away conditions. And I suppose it's furthering that knowledge for the squad, for everyone of broadening things. You think we come away from this tour and we're victors. We've also gained a lot of knowledge on a number of other players, and then there's Jimmy and Brody to add back into things. We're in a really strong position. I also think I don't want this from saying that. I don't want this to sound like it's a development tour at all. It's not. It's about going there and winning, absolutely. But we've got a great opportunity for those guys to step into that space and better everyone for it, better this team for it.
I mean, the thing is, Joe, you do need to win, don't you? I mean,
yeah, of course you do.
I mean,
that's
I don't know.
Cricket.
Yeah,
that's what it's about. It's at the peak of the game. You've got to look to try and win as many games as you can, absolutely. And that's a responsibility of this team now to go and do that.
When one of the things that Jimmy has said is that he feels he's got better since he's turned 35, and I think he could probably produce stats to actually prove that. Is he right to say that? Is he getting better as a bowler?
Jimmy's he's been a phenomenal performer for such a long period of time, and it's been a joy to play alongside him. But I think what I want to make sure we try and do here is we look at what's coming up right now, and those two guys aren't going to be on that tour. And my focus now is looking at the guys that are, making sure that they're very clear about how they're going to go and perform out there, what roles they're going to have, and going and executing it and enjoy doing it, and make sure that from that we're getting the results that we desire.
It's clear, Joe, that when England have succeeded and when you've won matches, it's been on the back of your run scoring. You already carry that responsibility. Now you're carrying extra responsibility by changing your position in the batting order. Is that really out of choice, Joe, or is that just out of necessity?
Yeah, I think I'm ready for that now. I've expressed in the past that I prefer batting at number 4, but I'm ready to take that on now. I feel like I'm very comfortable in the way that I've been playing and performing over the last year or so, and I think it's the right fit for this team. I think that I'm the person to go and bat slightly higher up, and if we do lose an early wicket, support those two openers, show a bit of leadership, responsibility, take that on, take the games on, and hopefully lay a bit of a platform for us to bat around. and I'm relishing that challenge. I'm really looking forward to it. In the past, I've probably looked at it in a slightly different way, and it's not really fitted me, but I'm a lot more comfortable with that now and at ease with that. And as I say, I'm looking forward to that.
Just finally, for me, the idea of a Red Bull reset, Joe, and the change perhaps in emphasis or ethos or whatever, for you, what does that involve in terms changing for you as a captain? Do you see this as a point where you have to change yourself as a captain?
I think you're always looking to try and better yourself and develop yourself as a leader, as a player, just in general. But certainly it's a great opportunity. It's one that we've got to try and grab with both hands. We've got to try and utilize. And ultimately, sometimes it doesn't take a long time to change things. It can happen quite quickly. And that's, I suppose, what we're looking for here is try and make a big difference, try and turn things around very quickly, put those performances back on the board, slowly start growing towards something. I think we have to be honest about where we are. We're not currently one of the best teams in the world, but that can be our ambition. And there's definitely strides that we can make, and make quick strides in getting closer to that and bridging that gap.
Good luck, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, Joe. Let's go John Norman and then Will Macpherson.
Hey, Joe. Thanks for talking.
No problem.
Might have to cover a couple of the areas that have already been covered, but I was just wondering if I might be wrong, but I'm not sure that you actually have a say in the selection. You're not part of the panel. Is that quite correct, or an official say? Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't have a vote on selection. I think Strauss made that quite clear as well. Yeah.
So what I'd just like to ask is whether you are fully supportive of the decision to rest Stuart Broad and Jimmy Anderson, and whether it was a decision you came to agree with quickly, or whether it was one that possibly you needed to be convinced about.
Look, I think when it comes to decisions, I don't think we should have to air every single bit of information. Clearly it was a discussion point for a long period of time, but the decision has been made, and this team, we've got to move. We've got to look at what the squad of players that we have got and how we're going to win out in the West Indies. And clearly that's going to be my full focus now. We can sit and talk about what has happened and what has gone on. We've got to learn from how we've played previously, and this group of players now have got to take that responsibility on. They're the ones that have got the chance to shape this tour, and in many ways put some good foundations in for this team moving forward. And that's an exciting challenge for them.
And in terms of you batting at 3, it seems to have again been a situation that's gone one way than the other over the last few years. But what is it, or when was it, that you decided that now was the time to move back to 3?
I think naturally, as you come back from a tour, you reflect and you look at how things could go differently, and look forward as well at how you think you want to, or how you can impact the team in a positive way. Whether that's as an individual player within the team, as a leader within the team, as I find myself right now. And I think that that's the best way that I can help us become a better team. And I feel like I've got the skills to bat in that position. I am more confident. As I mentioned, I'm more comfortable, and it sits a lot easier with me than it has done in the past. And I'm really looking forward to that challenge. Hopefully I can add to some stability, support those openers, getting us off to a good start, and laying the foundations for us to go on and make big scores.
And lastly, as you heard about the departures of some of your former colleagues, did you yourself have a fear that maybe your captaincy was going to be taken away from you?
It's the decision that was completely out of my hands in many respects. And, I'm very grateful that I've got the opportunity to lead this team forward. I'm really excited about that. I'm really grateful for that opportunity, as I mentioned, but what a great chance we have now. What an exciting squad it looks like, some new faces, opportunities for guys to stand up in slightly different roles, and for us to really reshape this team and drive it forward in a positive way.
Thanks, Joe. Good luck, mate.
Cheers. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Will and then David Charlesworth.
Hi, Joe. Just on Jimmy and Stuart again. Do you believe that kind of whatever happens on this tour, where whatever your medium to long term plans for the team are, do you think those guys deserve a a send off this summer, or does it not really work like that?
Well, as I said, at no stage has anyone said it's the end for them. So it'd be great to see them starting the season and putting themselves in the mix for selection. It's so hard to look too far ahead. As I mentioned, I keep saying is ultimately we've got to look after what's right in front of us, and that's this tour and making sure we get as much of that right as we possibly can. And if we're in a position where they can come back into this team, then great, that's only going to strengthen things. So a lot can happen between now and then. But as I said, no one's been told that that's the end of the road.
Okay, let's go on to David and then Julian Gaia after that. Go ahead, David.
Thanks, Danny. Hi, Joe.
Hi, David.
You were quite adamant at the end of the Ashes that you would continue in the job. Obviously, the last few weeks have allowed a little bit of downtime. Did you ever waver in your belief that you are the right person to continue captain in England?
No, I didn't waver. As I say, I'm very passionate about trying to take this team forward, and I'm grateful I've got that opportunity. I really am. But it's now very exciting to with that squad being announced, for us to be on the eve of that tour, is to get out there and to really try and put that, all of the thoughts and all of the ideas and good feelings about it into action, and really put the wheels in motion and enjoy everything about it as well. It's as I say, it's really exciting opportunity.
Previous England captains have spoken about the toll it takes as the years progress. You've been doing it for quite a few years. Have you found that? Have you thought about how long you might have left in the role?
I've not put a time limit on it, not at all. As I say, I'm very passionate about trying to help take this team forward. I'm excited about what's right ahead of us, and of course, the last couple of years in particular have been very difficult for a number of different reasons. Not just on field in the last year or so, but off the field as well. And but again, like this is a great opportunity to move things on again, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, let's go to Julian and then Vish, please.
Hello, Joe. There was some talk that when Chris lost his job, that he was perhaps being a bit too soft, a bit with you guys, and Justin Langer's lost his job, and people are saying it's because he was too hard, too intense. What sort of coach do you think England need, and what sort of coach do you think you need as a captain to help you improve?
Well, unfortunately, that's not a decision for me to have to make. That's for Andrew or whoever's employed in that position moving forward. I think the one thing that I know I keep referring back to it, but this tour is, I think what I want the guys to have is absolute clarity on how they're going to go and play and what roles they're going to play within this team, and then going out and just feeling free enough to express that and to the best of their ability, not feeling burdened by anything, and enjoy that challenge. I really enjoy everything about Test cricket. It's a great honour. It's a great chance to go and represent your country and play with that passion and pride, and I suppose trying to encourage that feeling around the group. Not sort of take away the fear that can sometimes come with cricket, and when you find yourself under pressure, is getting that mindset of getting into battle and how good it can be to overcome a difficult situation or scenario, and hopefully we can instill that early on in the trip, and then we can put it into performance and results.
And just one other one from me. You talked earlier about Chris Woakes sort of perhaps becoming a leader, with the ball. I mean, there's obviously a very marked difference between his home record and his away record. What gives you the confidence that he can step up in the Caribbean?
I think over time, I mean, he's not played a huge amount of cricket away from home in the recent past, but by this tour, I think what I will say is that he's constantly been our first change bowler or second change bowler. He's not had the opportunity to bowl with a newer ball away from home. And I think that change in role and mindset might have a massive difference. It's something that, I say him as a leader, he's someone that's done it in the white ball game and grown massively from it, gained a huge amount of confidence and ability from stepping into that void, and there's no reason why he can't do it with a red ball in hand as well. But it's not just Chris; it's other guys as well that can step up as well. Likes of Mark Wood, fantastic tour of Australia, bowl with heart, great passion, speed, endurance, be able to do it for long periods of time. Another chance for him to grow and develop as a player as well. And really, I want those guys to step into that void and enjoy that challenge and enjoy becoming more senior within the group.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, let's go Vish, Paul, and then Chris.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Vish.
So with regards to the number 3 position, Strauss mentioned it's about you taking a bit more responsibility. And, I feel like we've been through this with you, I suppose, 2016, 2018, before the Ashes in 2019. Is this the first time that it's fair to say that you've made this decision entirely on your own terms?
It's the first time it's really sat comfortable with me, and and it's the first time I've been really excited and not slightly apprehensive about it. Now I am coming into it having had a really strong year and having a lot more clarity on how I've been scoring my runs. And I'm not saying that guarantees me success. Absolutely not. I'm going to have to work really hard to transfer those performances into a number 3 role. But I'm very excited about it. I'm very motivated for it, and I feel more ready for it now. And of course, I'm a lot more experienced. I've a bit more cricket under my belt than a lot of other players, and I feel like it's the right fit for this team. I'm ready to do it. I'm feeling confident in that, and looking forward to the challenge of it.
In the past, it seemed to be that batting at 4 primarily was because of the strain of captaincy and needing that bit of respite. Not that you got much, all told, but that seemed to be the reasoning for it. Off the back of the year that you had with the bat, then has that, I suppose, reduced the strain a bit because you're in that form that you feel like you can be pulled 2 different ways adequately?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned, I've got a lot of clarity on how I want to bat now, and a better understanding of my game and how I want to score my runs. And that came off the back of that lockdown period where I did quite a lot of research on myself, and through it, I had a better understanding of things. And I think from that it's made me feel a lot more relaxed about how I want to approach my batting, and I feel I'm ready to step into that space off the back of it. I feel like I can probably, I'm in a better place to separate the two, and when it does come to batting, I can solely focus on it because I'm not overthinking anything technical anymore. I feel like I'm engaged in what's right in front of me, and I might have been slightly distracted in the past for a number of different reasons where I like to think now that shouldn't be an issue.
Just last one from me. Was there any pushback when you suggested number 3 because of what you've done at number 4 for the past 13 months?
No, I didn't see any pushback. I think a lot of guys were quite excited by it. So, as I say, it's an exciting time, and I just want to get my teeth into it now. Get out there and get some runs on the board early, and as I say, support those openers in getting us off to a good start.
Cool. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Paul, and then we'll take one more, I think, with Chris Stocks, if that's okay. So, Paul Newman, go ahead, please.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Paul.
You mentioned earlier that you didn't have an official vote on the selection panel, but I think we've always felt that the captain has always sort of had the team that he wanted. Is that fair to say? And was it a bit different this time?
I think I've been quite clear about how I want to address that question. I think sometimes, we've probably been slightly too honest about certain things, and some things should stay in a room. And I think that's the case in this scenario.
And just quickly, do you think you need to win in the West Indies to stay as captain?
I think it's really important that we go there and win. Yeah, as I say, it's a great opportunity. I know that we need to turn things around and we need to start putting in performances. I'm very passionate, as you are. I want to see England win. Of course I do. I'm as big a fan as anyone out there sat there watching. I'm just very fortunate to be in a position to affect the games. And I know that responsibility. Yeah, I'm excited about getting that chance to do that out there. I'm very motivated to make sure that we do come away with what would be a brilliant achievement, having only won there once since the 60s.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then finally, Chris Stocks. Go ahead, Chris.
Hi, Joe. You mentioned earlier that if you had Stuart and Jimmy available for the summer, it'd only strengthen your options. Is it fair to assume that kind of your options for this tour coming up have been weakened slightly, and that was a necessity to kind of get those guys growing into leadership roles and getting the team moving forward in a different direction?
I probably didn't mean it to come out as you might have interpreted it there, but as I say, it's a chance for us to grow as a team, and it's a chance for those guys to step into that space and become more senior off the back of it. And, for them to get the chance to bowl with a new ball, get the chance to lead the attack, get the chance to do what those guys have done for such a long period of time. I didn't mean to say it looks necessarily any weaker, but it's a great chance for us to be more rounded off the back of it, and just to see how those guys perform with a slightly different look to the team.
And there's no issue in the summer with Jimmy and Stuart possibly coming back into a team where guys have grown up to those leadership positions and moved on?
No, I don't think so. I think, like I say, the more guys that are available to play in that position, in English conditions in particular, it gives us more options.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, one more, Andrew Miller. I forgot you're on the list there. Apologies. So last one, Andrew Miller, then we're done. Thank you.
Hi, Joe. You touched it very briefly there, but obviously England, as you rightly say, have only won one series at the Caribbean since 1968. So I guess with that in mind, I mean, also you said it's not a development tour on this trip, but with that in mind, I mean, is this the right moment to be going in with quite such a unproven attack with a record like that to try and overturn?
Well, I think everyone will have their different opinions on that. I think the thing is, this is the team that's going out there, and it's our responsibility to go out there and try and win. And we've got to grab that chance with both hands. Can't ask any more of the group than that. There's some very talented players amongst that squad, and they're the ones in the shirt right now, and they've got to take that chance. And collectively, we've got the chance to do something very special. As you mentioned, historically, it's been a very difficult place for England to go and win, but what a chance it is for us right now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone. Appreciate your time. Cheers, Druty, and
thank you, guys. Hopefully, see some of you out there.
Thanks, Joe.
Cheers.
Cheers, Joe. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, Danny. Thanks all.